Welcome back to another episode of The Unveiled, and diving right back into Toriko, we will examine today the poison fortune teller and gentleman of the four Heavenly Kings, Coco. Looking back over the poisonous prodigy Coco, we have to note a few things about the man to be labeled a Class 1 dangerous creature. We spoke before about Coco's incredibly dangerous ability, known as aqua regia, the volcanic gas that can corrode nearly anything that it touches, from precious metal to rocks and even minerals. But as his powers developed, Coco's poison became more than just deadly. Coco is often seen as the level-headed, calm, and collected Heavenly King. Although despite his demeanor, Coco is possibly the most strategic member of the four kings. Throughout all of Coco's abilities, we have to classify him as a ranged combatant in terms of power, and with his ability to almost with 100% certainty see the outcome of any battle, the first of Coco's techniques that I like to bring up is the infamous Devil Poison. Coco has developed poison that can control beast or even man. The poison is more versatile than just killing. It can corrode, blind enemies, and block essential body functions, along with Coco being able to create full-body clones that can copy his abilities, known as the poison doppelganger. These can copy other people or objects, and Coco can even fuse his poison in with things like Zebra's sound abilities or the other members of the four kings. And towards the end of the series, especially after awakening his gourmet cell demon, we can confirm Coco's poison is strong enough to subjugate an entire planet worth of beings. Coco is immune to any enemy that would attempt a traditional physical touch. Things like vampirism will only result in the death of the enemy. His poison is strong enough to subjugate other gourmet world-class fighters such as sous chef Grimpot, who easily outclassed Toriko in their first encounter and almost defeated Coco by having a body capable of devouring poison with little to no side effect. But what makes Coco so dangerous is that you would assume due to his poison he isn't a close-up fighter such as the likes of Toriko. You should take care to remember that Coco can create poison armor, poison blades, and even cover his skin in a thin membrane that can protect it from point-blank explosive blasts. Perhaps the mightiest of these abilities is Coco's mold, spear, and arrow. Using his poison arrow and the curious mold disease he creates, Coco can fire an arrow at the speed of a mold spore infection. Now what does that mean? You see, for the brief time they're released, mold spores clock in as the fastest natural flights amongst anything in nature. And with his superhuman vision, Coco rarely ever misses. This, however, could be due to Coco's sight, which is a continuing trope among the four kings, as they each seem to embody a different aspect of the senses. Toriko is smell, Coco is sight, and we'll get on along to the rest. With his eyes, Coco can see the electromagnetic spectrum and the waves that proceed. This goes as far as to see the omen of death or the lingering lines of life force in the area. This way, much like Toriko, Coco can see in pitch black environments and fights near invisible foes. This ability makes Coco almost a fortune teller of sorts. He's been able to strike bigger casinos and his enemies' necks. As possibly the most composed and rational of the four Heavenly Kings, Coco has proven he deserves the title of Class 1 dangerous beast. Coco being able to read changes in the electromagnetic spectrum at all gives him quite a few ways to counter most things, even if he faces enemies that could particularly deal with his poison abilities. I dare say that out of all the four Heavenly Kings in a direct confrontation, it is likely that Coco is the deadliest person to encounter. But come back for the next episode, where we take some time for ourselves and we realize the true meaning of beauty.